right, everybody, we are here. First Cabral HouseCall of the weekend. If you're new to the show, welcome. We always answer about 5 to 6 of the community's questions each and every Saturday and Sunday, so about a dozen questions per weekend. They've come in now over the past 10 to 12 weeks. We simply gather up those questions. We don't edit them at all. The very first time I see them is right now as I open up the big Ask Cabral document that my team so graciously puts together each and every week, and we answer those questions in their raw format. So I always do my best to read them, how you wrote them, and then give you my first thoughts as to what I would do for myself, for my family, or those in my private practice. Of course, I can't give you any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, or medical diagnosis, but as I always say, we're looking for something even better, and that's an underlying root cause. All right, without further ado, let's dive into the show. It looks like the first question is from Kelsey. And Kelsey says, "Hi, Dr. Cabral. I love your podcast as it has helped me turn my health and my mindset around completely. So thank you for all that you do." Thank you, Kelsey. Appreciate that and glad that it's helping. I recently saw some information that scares me and I would like your opinion. Wild-caught fish are a huge part of my diet and I eat a piece of wild-caught salmon every day. What scares me is that I just came across several articles talking about how most fish, including wild-caught, contain extremely toxic levels of PFAs or forever chemicals that cause all sorts of health issues and that these chemicals can stay in the body forever. This is extremely disheartening to me as fish are a staple of my main diet and I'm trying to get the health benefits from them. Does this make it not worth it to eat the fish? All right, it's a great question. So I eat a good amount of fish in my diet as well. And what I try to do is obviously source the best quality wild-caught fish. And I look for the smaller fish whenever possible. Wild salmon is something I have myself a couple times a week, and then I eat other types of fish as well. And what I would share with you is a podcast I just did on this. And it was episode 2818. The reason you didn't see it is that you wrote in at least a month or two ago. And so you wouldn't have already known I was coming out with the show. So it's 7 common chemicals that disrupt your hormones. And they are on those forever chemicals. And so I share with you different ways to avoid them. And I also want you to know that most of those forever chemicals are really from farmed fish. Because although there is some in the ocean, there's no doubt about it, there's microplastics in the ocean. I mean, we're literally polluting and killing the world that we live in, like no doubt about it. But if we're going to take this approach, honestly, then we need to fare all the glyphosates in the soil, even in organic-based soils. It's like there's a lot to worry about. There's no doubt about it. We can do our best, our very best. And keep in mind, infrared sauna, functional medicine detoxes. These things do help to get rid of a lot of these chemicals. So just keep that in mind too. Stay away from the farm fish, no doubt about it. Go with the wild caught. Keep eating clean. Keep getting a good amount of fiber, hydration in your body. Sweat on a daily basis if you can. Keep doing all the natural things to be healthy, and that's my recommendation. That's what I try to do as well. But I mean, they're trying to cause cancer. They really are. Everywhere in the world, it's unbelievable with all the chemicals they're putting into this world. All right, Anonymous is up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I was wondering what you think of fulvic acid. I've been seeing it all over Facebook as a parasite cleanse. One of the forms is a foot soak, and little worms are said to come out. Does Equilife have a parasite cleanse? Thanks. Okay, yes, we do. It's called the Parasupport protocol, and inside of it you'll see fulvic acid. It's in our universal binder. But just keep in mind, fulvic acid, although great, is not the end all be all. It's a decent to moderate chelator and binder that is fantastic. So I'm not downplaying it in any way. However, what we don't look to do is just use that just for parasites. So we want to look at what we know has worked for thousands of years, not hundreds, but thousands. So tribes in South America used it. Over in Ayurveda in India, in China, and then with the indigenous people of North America, all use these specific herbs, right? Or variations of them. We're looking at cloves, we're looking at sweet wormwood, we're looking at black walnut hulls, artemisia, so much more. So these work. They really do work. They're clinically proven to work, but then you also want to add a biofilm disruptor. So I would you can try the foot baths, the foot soaks. We don't use them in our practice. We go internal. No problem with doing a foot soak. Like you can absolutely do a foot soak. No issue with that. I mean, you can put fulvic acid if you want. You can put baking soda in a little bucket and put your feet in there. No problem at all. But use a real protocol that will help you to systematically remove these things from your gut. Okay? All right. And you can find all the products that I talk about today that I use in my practice are at stevencabral.com/shop. And you're welcome to use any company in the world. I just share with you what I do. That's all. All right, Eric is up next. I tried searching to see if you talked about this, but nothing came up. Hand and foot and mouth disease. I did a Google search, but was hoping for more info on this viral virus. It's always going around, and it seems my kids have never caught it. Until now. Is there an underlying dormant virus one carries with this or not necessarily? Just wanting to understand it better. Thanks so much, as always, for what you do. Okay, so I know you wrote in about 2 months ago. Again, apologies. It's about 10 weeks or so that we get to your question. You can always ask your question at cabralsupportgroup.com. But just know that, most people's kids get hand, foot, and mouth disease. Or foot and mouth, like however you want to refer to it, it's all the same. And when we look at this particular virus, you can actually get it twice. People say that you can't. You can get it twice. But if you get it the second time, it's much, much more mild. All of the, let's say, families in our practice, they've always just, if it was a baby that got it, nurse the child. The mom would keep up with her vitamin C, her vitamin D, her zinc to make sure her antibodies were up. Good rest, a lot of breastfeeding. That's what they did. Now, for children, if they were to get it, we would use so again, this is not medical advice or medical cures. We would use a little bit of colloidal silver. We would use vitamin C. Depending on the age, we could use a little bit of zinc. We would always use a little vitamin D3, rest, lots of hydration, and everybody was able to get over it. So again, I can't give you medical advice or medical cures, but that's always what we did. And then it was never an issue after that. They could always be exposed to it, and they seem to have just natural immunity from getting it then. All right, so hopefully that's helpful. Kim is up next. What are your thoughts on supplement T2 for those suffering with Hashimoto's? I was diagnosed at age 14. And I'm sensitive to medication, can't go on any of the dosage. I'm currently on 137 micrograms of Tyrosent and 2.5 micrograms of Cytomel, feeling hypothyroid, so looking into T2 since my labs are okay, range, but I feel swollen and like garbage a few months of the year. Follow my health coach protocol, and I've been doing several years for all things. Okay, so happy to help with this. We have a very specific protocol that we use for autoimmune-based thyroid as well as low thyroid. And so what I want to share with you is that we don't like to guess. So we test exactly what you need. And that's the bottom line. So the best thing that you can do is run the Big Five. That's the ultimate thing you can do. So you can look at your omega-6s to your omega-3s, your food sensitivities. You can look at your gut function. You can look at your methylated Bs. You can look at your minerals. You can look at your heavy metals. That's what we need to do. And then on the stress, mood, and metabolism, which is part of the Big Five labs that you can do right at home, it's going to look at your cortisol levels. It's going to give you a reason why your thyroid is low. That's basically the bottom line. And you want to test it when you're having symptoms so that you can actually see, oh, this is what my body looks like when I'm having symptoms. And then we can recommend exactly what it is that your body needs. Nobody else's. And again, we're not saying that we're curing disease, but this is what we do. We remove the food sensitivities. We heal the gut, especially in all autoimmune issues. Then we're saying, does this person need selenium? If so, okay, we can get that. Do they need iodine? If so, okay, we'll give that. What about B6? What about zinc? What about copper? We'll do all of the things that you may need for your thyroid to give it what it needs. And then if you have blockers of thyroid hormone, such as mercury or bromine or chloride or arsenic, or I've already mentioned mercury as well, cadmium is the other one, then we can help to remove those with our heavy metal detox protocol. So all of these are already available. They're at stevencabral.com/shop. You can find the Big Five. You can find just the stress, mood, and metabolism. We can give you all the things that we need to help rebalance the body. Because remember, a healthy body can't be sick. And if a body's not healthy, it's because there are certain toxicities like heavy metals or deficiencies like some of the minerals and vitamins that I named. All right. So that's exactly how we do it. And we're happy to help. And it takes all the guesswork out. All right, Anonymous is up next. It says, hello, I was wondering, how would you flush the kidneys for a child after completing the CBO protocol? Thanks so much. Okay, so for the question to me would be, why do you need to flush the kidneys, right? So that's my question. I don't know why we would need to flush the kidneys, but if we did, we could use certain natural low dose herbs that could be very beneficial for the kidneys, like juniper and dandelion and ginseng and a few others. So they can be taken as tinctures made with glycerin rather than alcohol, because most adult tinctures are made with alcohol. And we can put that in a couple drops of water and we could use that. Now we can also just use other things, like we can make our own homemade ginger tea and then add a little bit of Manuka honey to sweeten it up for them, because most kids will not like ginger tea. Add a little bit of lime to that. My daughters love that concoction right there. Ginger tea with natural honey. We use Manuka honey or we use local wildflower, and and lime, squeezed lime. And you can even do it with a little bit of like sparkling spring water if you want. So some kids like it, some kids don't. But if you needed to, you can certainly do that as well. A little bit of cranberry juice in that wouldn't hurt, or a little D-mannose. So yeah, but the big question is, you shouldn't need to after the Equalife CBO protocol. There's a children's CBO protocol, but that's of course your decision, and there's nothing wrong with it either. So I'm not trying to talk you out of it. I'm just saying I don't know that there'd be a need to. That's all. All right, let's see. Can we get another question in? We can. Let's get in one more question today. It's from Maria, and Maria says, hello, Dr. Cabral. I cannot fall asleep anymore. I have to take sleeping pills. Why is it that I don't have the sleep drive anymore? And what is going on? And what can I do for a more natural way to sleep? Thanks, Maria. Okay, happy to help here. So, as someone that was a complete insomniac for 27 years, 28 years of my life, I used to be on sleeping pills when I was a later teenager and in my early 20s. And the sleeping pills made me feel almost as worse as not sleeping. Like almost as bad. Like they were horrible. My doctor would give me Ambien. They would give me then Lunesta. And Lunesta was like a little better than Ambien, but I still felt like I had this headache and this grogginess. Then I woke up. It was horrible. But you have to keep in mind, an insomniac, like someone that can't sleep, it would take me 3 to 4 hours to fall asleep. 3 to 4 hours. And I'd still have to wake up at a normal time. Like I have to go to class. I'd have to go to like normal. So I would get maybe like 3 to 4 hours of sleep at night. And it was awful. And so I'd wake up in REM sleep or deep sleep, and I'd feel so groggy when the alarm clock went off. So I totally get it. But I ran my at-home labs, literally, found out what was wrong, changed my life. Now I have 0 sleeping issues. I went from a complete insomniac to I post my sleep scores literally all the time on Instagram when I can think about it. And I get 90 plus minutes of deep sleep and 2+ hours of REM and 8 hours of sleep a night. And so there is hope, of course. You need to find out if you're deficient in magnesium or magnesium and calcium or even some potassium. You need to find if you're deficient in B vitamins. And there's a lot of nutrients that go into it. If possible, run the Big 5 labs. I've mentioned them before. If you can't run the Big 5 labs, run the starter kit. And that will tell you so much. And if you can, add on one more lab called the stress, mood, and metabolism to see if it's high cortisol at night. But as you get older too, and this happens a lot with women in our practice that we speak with, once you start to drop in hormone levels, it can affect your sleep. If you drop in thyroid, it can affect your sleep. If your cortisol increases in the evening because of stress or a lot of things in your mind, that can affect your sleep. So if possible, run the Big 5. If not, run the starter kit. And then if you can do a third, run the stress, mood, and metabolism. All right, everybody, that is going to be our show for today, but I will be back tomorrow answering more of our community's questions. Stay tuned. Have an amazing rest of the day. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.